Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
Yo, it's Classic with the classic codes. Got a code language for y'all today. Feel good about this one. I feel like this one that a lot of people gonna be able to relate to and learn from and grow from, myself included. But before I get into the code language for the day, I need y'all to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and as we go along, drop some comments. I would love to talk to y'all and have a conversation because we gotta crack these codes, man. But today, the code language is about social anxiety. It's also going to be a little bit about introversion as well. With that being said, again, I don't believe in using my own personal credentials or accolades or anything like that to qualify what I'm saying. I'm just going to speak to life, the things I've lived, the things I've seen, the things I've felt, etc. As we build and as a subscriber base grow, we going to all intend. I see that we could all become a family in this some way, shape, or form, right? Because we all connected anyway. But that's a different conversation. Social anxiety. I deal with social anxiety real heavy. And if I'm wrong, and any therapist see this or anybody that's more studied than I am on this, think it's something different, drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it for sure. But I deal with some social anxiety. I could honestly say that when it's time to go be around people I don't already know, hell, when it's time to go be around more than 3 people at a time, I have a bit of social anxiety. I don't necessarily care to be really, really social. Now, the discussion could branch off a lot of different ways from here, and I want to start with, I saw a post from an actual therapist saying that a lot of times people feel social anxiety because they think people are thinking about them more than they are. She went on to say, nobody's really paying attention to you. I wish I could find the clip, but I don't believe I saved it. But it stuck with me because when she said it, I tried to internalize it because I know I deal with some social anxiety, right? So I was like, does that apply to me? And I try to always be objective because I'm a truth seeker, right? So I'm okay with being wrong. I just want to know what's right if I'm wrong. So I internalized it and I was like, do I really think people are thinking about me? And I think my answer that I came up with was, I guess it depends on the setting, right? I'm an artist, so there's times where I have to perform, obviously, whether it be a concert, whether it be on set for acting. There's times where on call, I have to be able to perform up to par for whomever's liking, whether it be a director or the crowd in front of me, whatever the case may be, right? So in those moments, I actually have the least anxiety. Maybe it's because I'm doing something that I love. But when it comes to my leisure time, I don't know that I necessarily care or think that people are thinking about me, honestly. Sometimes when you're a certain type of person, you garner attention whether you want it or not. I'm not saying that to big myself up, just being honest about my experiences. It's very difficult for me to walk in a room and be a fly on the wall. And so with that being said, generally speaking, in social settings, I'm going to be forced to be a bit more social than I'd like to be. You ever been in a room full of people and like there's certain people in the room that are just existing in the room and nobody's pressing them about it? Like you don't see anybody walking up to them trying to generate a conversation out of thin air or ask them if they want any refreshments. They kind of in the cut and everybody in the party just socializing around them and let them stay in the cut. I never get to do that. I don't get to do that. I try to lay in the cut. Somebody gonna walk up to me trying to see what's up. and then from there I'm forced to start interacting. I guess y'all will ask, well, why are you even outside? Well, it might be an obligation, right? It might be somebody's something, a friend's birthday, somebody's, now weddings. I be turning up at weddings. I'm a great wedding goer. If y'all got a good DJ, the reception gonna be popping. I'm a weddings. I do. But other than that, like kickbacks, I definitely don't be in the club. Um, yeah, just like social settings, game nights, kickbacks, birthday dinners, all that. I'm not interested. I'm really not. And if I show up, it's off the love. And I called it, like I said a second ago, an obligation for sure. You know. And when you got good relationships and strong relationships with people, you bite the bullet sometimes. It is what it is. So in those moments, that's where I have to deal with the anxiety. Where do I actually think my social anxiety comes from? I think my social anxiety comes from, or I believe my social anxiety comes from, I believe it really comes from understanding what's going on around me. I'm not really like most people. For the people that subscribe to me and that's going through my content on a day to day as I'm constantly dropping content and y'all starting to understand my thought processes or how abstract my thinking is or how I can understand nuances. I'm just not one of the common people. And I'm not saying that there's nobody like me. I run into people that are eclectic like myself here and there, but we're the rare type. We don't think like everybody else. We what they call it, red pill, right? The red pill would definitely be a minority. And I mean red pill by the actual definition, not the term y'all turned it into, right? From the Matrix type red pill. People who are awake in certain areas of life. So when people find out that you think different, they like to pick your brain. They always want to pick your brain. So even just being in work environments, I'm the guy, I could just be walking along and somebody be like, "Hey, come here. I want to know what you think about this." You know, type shit. So for me, having the understanding that most people don't understand things the way I understand things, if I'm not gonna be around my tribe, and when I say my tribe, I'm talking about the people who I could really talk to. We could really get into some conversations about some spiritual shit, the earth being round or flat or spheric. We can get into some, I mean, we can just, the conversation can go off into so many different ways and we not losing each other. And then you have the vast majority of people, whereas if I try to truly be myself and open up and really, really speak, they be looking at me like I'm speaking German, like I'm crazy. So those moments are the moments, and in the function or in the kickback, when I be like, I should have just stayed my ass in the house. And I think some of that's where it come from. So for me, I just don't be liking being around people like that. I like being around certain people, and then when it come to my friends, I like being around my friends one on one. I used to have a lot of kickbacks, a lot of get-togethers, a lot of gatherings, a lot of barbecues, a lot of in my life. But the more I grow as a person, the more I read, gain knowledge, the more I start really embracing nature and life and the course of everything and understanding what it is, understanding what are controllables and the things that I have to just let go and let God on. The more you gain that understanding, when it comes to my leisure time, fam, I just, I'm kind of dead serious about my leisure time. If being around you is finna unsettle my spirit, disrupt my peace, I'd rather not. And then at this point in my life, it's really a situation where I don't even care who you is. Like, we could be this tight. If you having a party, I'll catch you the day after on some one-on-one for breakfast. I ain't trying to be your friends is your friends. So This platform, honestly, this microphone, the microphone in general, whether it be my music, whether it be podcasting, whether it be streaming, whatever the case may be. This is the only, I got a lyric in one of my songs that I never put out where I say the microphone's the only safe space, only place ain't got a save face, uncut, no lace. You know what I mean? And it's true. You get on here, this is probably speaking to this microphone about social anxiety for the last however many minutes it's been, 10 minutes or so. This is probably the most vulnerable that I've been in for however long. You know, since my last stream of consciousness on another piece of content that I made. Something about being able this is for me. Something about being able to tap in and then speak into the microphone and just be honest without fear of anything. I don't personally live my life in fear, but I think fear was the wrong word. Without potential peace disruption. Because me personally, I don't, yeah, fear definitely was the wrong word. Because me personally, I don't fear altercation. I'd just rather not. Does that make sense? I don't fear altercation. I just rather not. But if we got to, you see? So it's like that. You have some people who hunt for problems. That speaks to where they are with the in their spirit. If you out here hunting for problems, your spirit is unsettled. When you get to a place where your spirit is settled, you ain't really trying to be unsettled unless it's a uncontrollable. If you can control it, you're not trying to do that. If it's an uncontrollable, then that's life and you got to deal with that as it come. And the only way out is through in most cases in life, which is something that a lot of people have not embraced. So yeah, I think that's honestly, I believe that's where a lot of my social anxiety comes from. Just the understanding of self in the midst of the majority and where I fall, what that means, what that looks like. My uniqueness is amazing in certain arenas. And then my uniqueness is weird in other arenas or unacceptable, inappropriate, depending on what we're talking about. So I believe that, peace has become so important that it's just like when I get that feeling of I rather not, I just don't. I think we've all been to that kickback or that get together or that party that we didn't want to go. We did not want to go. We here off the love, off the strength of somebody. We do not want to be here. At this point in my life, I ain't coming, folks. If you love me, you'll get it. If you don't, we had a great journey. That's how that go. You know, I think people, sometimes we like to look at people as a monolith. Like I've heard people say, people need people. There's the such thing as a recluse for a reason. There are reclusive people. There are people who prefer to be alone. There are nomadic people. And it ain't all because they beat up. Sometimes they understand some shit on a different level and they just don't want to be around y'all. They don't. They not with accepting the type of shit y'all trying to accept. They not with the flow and the motion that society is moving in when it comes to the majority. They not fucking with it. So they go find them a little place in the woods and they just go out there and do their thing with their little animals and they take care of themselves and they live off the land. To y'all think them people weird. Y'all think they strange. Y'all think they dangerous, which they are probably dangerous, but they're not violent, right? They're not seeking trouble. But if they must, you see what I'm saying? They actually seek it. A warrior's greatest goal is peace. Y'all done got me cooking, man. Y'all done got me cooking. This should have been a live stream. But look, social anxiety, I feel, comes from a multitude of reasons. And I think that it gets a negative connotation. Any type of anxiety gets looked at with a negative connotation. But if you, again, where's your emotional intelligence? Depending on how your emotional intelligence is set up, depending on your understanding of self, when you feel certain ways, you just have choices to make. Okay, I feel like this. What do I do next? What's my next decision? Am I going to make a decision based on how it's going to make somebody else feel? Or am I going to make the decision that's going to have me in a better place? And then some people will look at it like something broken. Oh, you feel anxiety? Well, we need to fix it. Well, the fix sometimes is just making the choice that's comfortable. Hey, look, we talking again, emphasis on, I'm talking about leisure. When it's time to go get some money, if I got to be around some people to go get the bag, I don't feel no anxiety about going to get no money. I don't feel that. When it's time to go to my shows and I'm headlining, so I'm an independent artist, so it's a white glove treatment, right? I'm gonna go around, tell each person there thank you, even the ones that are faces that's just simply fans from offline. I don't recognize them, I don't know them like that. I'm gonna tell everybody thank you, take pictures, sign autographs, all of that stuff. I don't feel no anxiety. But when I have the time to myself, and somebody asks me, hey, slide over here, but you're going to have to be around so-and-so and such that live a way that you don't agree with. And then you got to be around so-and-so and such that look at you a certain way because they cool with somebody that you not cool with. Then you got to be around. So it's like, fam, I'm not coming. I fuck with you though. Kinda. Because you kind of cool with too many people I'm on the fence about. Type shit. So like, that's when my anxiety flare up. But check it out. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all of these concepts, these ideologies, even the experiences or the examples that I provided. Let's have a conversation. Let's crack these codes, man. I'm off this one. If y'all don't do nothing else, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and stick to the codes. Yeah.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Hardened my heart and now hardened the flow.